All right, here we go, folks. Friday night. We've been saying we're going to do it, and we also just launched um, some new information. As someone that's been following the case, no one else has this. I'm going to show it to you in just a moment. If you don't want to wait, you could actually go and see it on the website, tpetro.com. But I want to give everyone a chance to get in. Let me just check our volume. Now we are live right now. Yes, hold on. There we go. Okay, and I think we're good. Yes. Okay, so we're good on X. We should be good on YouTube, and we'll bring you the latest again. And I get that right now. Let me say, there's Lynn Miller. Yes, there's Pat. Good evening, everybody, folks. This is without question still the story. Hi there, Maria. Now we're also, if you are a friend or a family member of Kylee, you could certainly send a direct message like we did last night, and then we'll try to, get some of you on. We learned a lot last night. I have been talking to the family. There's Chuck. Hi there, Linda. Yes, and Cindy and Denise Oliver and all. Yes, folks, good evening. Again, remember, if you're on Facebook, you can send stars. On YouTube, yep, on YouTube, you can also, they call it a super chat and so forth. But want to bring you the latest. Now, again, if you check, there's Catherine. If you check DePetro.com, and we're the only ones that have it. I'm going to show you in just a moment. And for those that don't want to wait, let me just check. There's our YouTube connection. I emphasize again, it is free to join my community. The stocks I share. It's an ad. The techniques and strategies I teach are also free. There's Janet. Hi, Janet. Don't say it's a scam. And there we go. Okay. I'm going to show it. So now, first of all, hi there, Kat. So we're also first. I want to put out if you want to, just read it yourself. But I think it would be helpful if people saw this, because there's Chris, because then people can get an idea of, I have my own thoughts in seeing this, and then we'll get, you may have your own thoughts. I see there's a little bit of static right there, but I'm not going to get freaked out about it. There's Brenda. There's Jane Rice. Yes, thank you, Kathy. I appreciate that. Well, folks, here it is. And people have been asking about this, and it's very, very significant. I know everyone is praying, or they should be praying. The final text from Kylee. They're right on DePetro.com. I'm going to show them to you. Hold on one moment. There we go. Okay. Sorry about that, everybody. Okay. Good evening, Linda. Yes. So I'm going to put it up, and then, everyone, you can be your own judge. But it is, as I said, thank you, Paul. Must have been that cheap blow from Kennedy Plaza. I want to, I'm going to show it, and then we can kind of walk through it a little bit. Now, I'm seeing that people are saying that they think they've called off the search. I don't think that's accurate, but I do want to show you, and I think this is very significant, and it's really interesting. So, are you ready? This was the final, as far as we know. No need to put a mask on. Joe Rowe, humor is not a strength. Humor is just not a strength. Put a mask on. Folks, I admit, I try to stay focused, and then but I can't stand when people then like what it put a mask on. What is that supposed to mean? I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. I know it's not funny. It's distracting, and I know that then people say don't let that, but I know that it's distracting. So I mean, people know that obviously I get distracted with something like that. And I wish the moderators, I know the moderators want to say hi to everybody, but let's like check some of the comments. I know people like to greet everybody. I get that. But let's check some of the comments and make sure. I know people are just firing questions. Why don't you wait? Let's do this. I'm going to put it so I'm not actually get over it. There we go. Now you can always tell the degenerates that show up. Folks, and I want to explain, and those of you that have followed, when we start off, allow me to present the new information that we have. And so instead of just then like firing questions, as I try to say, you wouldn't do that if in fact nope, hold on. That's not what I want. And let me go back to this. So nope, we're gonna stay focused. Hold on. Let me right. Let's see. Hold on. No, that's not it. Hold on. I am trying to find something. And hold on, everybody. Again, I apologize. I know. Believe me. That's why I tried. What I was trying to say was some people, like, you don't just come in and then start firing questions. I think it's kind of like the art of conversation a little bit. So, but not everybody understands that. Oh, hold on. Oh, that's not it. Damn it. Let's see. I came on in such a good mood. Nope. Let's see. That's not it. I know. Hold on. I know it's so annoying. I don't know why it's doing that. It should be okay. Hold on. I know I keep saying that, but oh wow, this is really annoying. Okay. Unless I think I know what the problem is. All right, well, we'll leave it for the moment. I will show. I will. Thank you, Tony. Just trying to get control here. So now I don't know what this is, and I know the moderators are on, and we want to stay focused. I want to stay focused. So, yes, it was. Yep. No, it's not a matter of that. It's not a matter of that. But thank you, Denise Oliver. This is like, why am I seeing this? What is that? That looks like total, right? Total spam. Okay. Yes, we do. Do we have any news on Kylee? Why do you think we're here? All right. I do see what the problem is that we'll have to address, and we will address it. Okay. Let me show it. Let me get back in mode. So here it is. So this is, from my understanding, the final text message that she sent. Now, from what I understand, there was some sort of a problem where she only could use her phone. This is what I've been told, when she had access to Wi-Fi. So what I mean by that is, I think most people, wherever you are, you can do it. Not everyone has that plan. So the problem is, she needed to be, that's what I was told, near Wi-Fi. So let's look at this. Hi, sorry, me and Greg went to get food and I'm still here. So as you look at that, I'm not going to reveal exactly who it was with, but this was Thursday at 1:46. So August 7th at 1:46. And again, if there's a friend or a family member that comes on, tell one of the mods. You can send a direct message to the page, and I'll have you on like last night. Are you staying there again tonight? Is the question back. And then this is Thursday the 7th at 3:52. I think so. IDK, which is I don't know. We haven't talked yet. We're waiting till 3. Now, what first jumps out is it's 3:52 and it says we're waiting till 3. So several hours go by. Okay, so what happens? 7:09. Now this is the next day. Please call me, Kylee. I haven't heard from you. I'm worried. And then Friday at 1:20, missed call video. 12:06 p.m. missed call. So now several things. It's possible, Tony. It's very possible. There's Micah Hearn, Team One. As I have mentioned, and again, this is on the website, depetro.com. So I don't know. From what I understand, and again, I want to reiterate to people that this is so much from me talking to people, doing a live stream like this on a Friday night, trying to give people that information a chance to come forward. Last night, we talked with one of the sisters, Kitty, and then we spoke with Mama Bear and a friend, and then the other friend. And so we got quite a bit of information there. But what does that tell us? Now, you don't know who it is. I agree. You don't know who is sending those texts. You assume it's her, but you don't know if it's her. So we do have it up. I know right now, and again, this is really important the time is off of that. Tony, I live one street over from County. They had helicopters searching the woods. Tony, film that. Film that. I'd like to see that. I have had people sending me video of that. Folks, anyone that lives around there, you see something like that, you can send it. So now, here's from what I understand, is that, and again, this is not coming from the police, but that he was supposedly the one on Friday that called and reported her missing. So now, she has a lot of social media, or she does. And we're going to talk present. And I want to remind people, this is a missing persons case. This is, there has been no, person of interest. There's been no suspect named. This is exactly as they have laid out a missing persons case. So right now, they reported that Thursday was the last communication. We heard from family that it was really the sister saying it was the Wednesday night that someone had actually seen and talked to her. So we don't know what transpired. I believe the boyfriend said that she left. I believe that's what he has said. There he is. Now, okay, so that's definitely a grimacing photo. That's Greg Groom, the boyfriend, the father of the child that for whatever reason did not want her living there anymore. But look at, there's a heart there. So I believe that's her drawing the heart. Okay, that is a little unusual. So now Kimberly says, I live in this town. His family raised pigs. Everyone is kind of high alert because we all know what pigs. That's exactly right. Thank you, Eric. You don't get all the answers at once. Now, I have not heard that. I have heard, now see, this is where, and I don't mind doing it, that, yeah, the police said it's a, do we really have to, folks, again, I want to repeat, you don't just like fire questions. I have to like teach people like proper etiquette. Why not listen? And the question may be answered. So the answer you're looking for will probably come out. So did the police say, well, if we have to go back to again, which apparently we have to, what was the initial image of her missing? I mean, I guess we could do that if we want to start at the very beginning. I've been kind of talking about that, but the initial image is missing. We have a missing person. So I'm going to try to fight through it. It's not easy because people just, and again, I can't imagine being in the company of people that as you're trying to have a conversation, that people just are interrupting and firing off questions. Missing person alert is what the police said. So that answers that. I know, Steph. I know. The police are being vague and people are making their own posts. Well, I can't control anything about that. So you don't know that, Michelle. Why hasn't the boyfriend spoken to anyone? You don't know that. You don't know that. I could start to say, where are you getting that from? I haven't heard that. Obviously, they want to talk to the boyfriend. I kind of feel no offense to Michelle, because I think she's pretty vested in this, but I don't accept the premise of the question. Why hasn't the boyfriend spoken to anyone? You're assuming he hasn't spoken to anyone. And I'm not convinced that is, what's happening. So, but it is a missing persons case. But you can control how you speak to your audience. I try to, yes. Now, I want to come back to, I had heard that they have some chickens and dogs and cats. And she had a cat there. That's what I heard. I have not heard about other animals. Last night we had someone, that's true. Tina Walsh is exactly right. I understand a lot of people just think it's like a TV show or a movie. I want to remind people, but getting back the animals. Now look you have people saying the pig comment. I didn't, that is not what I have heard. That if someone lives in the town and knows that, I have not heard that. I have not heard that. I spoke with someone who was there and said the only things that they're raising are chickens. I have not heard any other animals. So there's a discrepancy. I know, Jasmine, everybody is. That is true. She is 18, they're calling it but they're not a fluid investigation now, not active, not missing. So, all right, let's talk about that, Jennifer. I think the police want to slow things down a little bit and they want to get control of the narrative. As I've also said, folks, and some people may or may not realize this, but the state police have been under incredible scrutiny, and I think that is impacting the investigation. And that's why, I don't want to start to go off into other cases, but I think there was another recent high profile case, and that's why it's almost comical to me. The people that were telling everyone that the police are incompetent and the police can't be trusted are now trying to report on the story. That has not been my experience. Now, that's a picture of them in a barn, and he has a barn, and I'm told that she was being able to stay somewhere on the property, and it's you'd think it's a barn, but it's actually set up kind of the way someone even has like another place that people could stay. I have not heard anything about pigs. I spoke to someone who visited the property, said they have chickens and dogs and cats, and he does live in the house. That's right, with the grandparents. We were hearing last night that I have heard that, Kimberly. I have heard he has a bad history of domestic. I don't know about that, but no, people have said that. I've heard police are familiar with the house. So, still no real update other than they're still looking. I wouldn't say that. Let's look at what they're talking about. People may not. I'm not sure exactly what people think is an update. There are things that are happening each day. So, Michelle, you didn't answer the first question you put forward. So before we start asking questions, you put, Michelle, how come he's not talking to the police? And I'm just questioning where you got that from. So now, people asking, thank you, Lisa, people asking about word in our town, he never got a search warrant for his house. That is not as easy to get as people think, and I understand people watch television shows and movies and think they immediately go barging in. This is Massachusetts we're talking about. This is also the state police. They want to be very cautious. You have two different law enforcement agencies trying to work together with the Rehoboth Police and the Massachusetts State Police. So, as I've stated, if you don't have everything in a row, you get a search warrant from a judge to sign off on it. If everything is not proper, down the line, evidence could be tossed. So I'm sure they want to be very cautious. So that is not true. They didn't even search the woods. Nope. They have had police on the property with canine. Now, it sounds like police haven't answered that. But it sounds as though it was somewhat of a limited search. That's my understanding. But let's step back for a moment. People saying, did they get the search warrant for the house? How do you obtain that? He's the one apparently that called the police. She left my house and she went in a certain direction. So, right now she's missing, but they don't seem to have anything other than he's the one that reported her missing. So now the phone information, I don't know. Where is her phone? I heard in speaking to different people that he supposedly, you need probable cause. Eric can speak to this. So John, not phone. I don't know what that means. if she has a phone and it has to be connected to Wi-Fi in order to be able to communicate with people, that is a problem when you're way out somewhere like that. What I'm attempting to do, and I want to caution people, she could be found alive. She could be found alive. She has a phone that apparently has to connect to Wi-Fi. She could be somewhere where there's no Wi-Fi. People need to slow down a little bit, and everything kind of like rushing along a little bit. These people saying that the police need to go into that house based on what? So, there's various reasons why people then just don't want someone searching their home. He called and reported that she was missing. And that's what they're working off right now. That is exactly right. You need a probable cause. And right now, need a probable cause or evidence. That is exactly right, Scott. And right now, it doesn't sound like they have it. Now, there's been no news interviews. Listen, not everyone does interviews on the news. From what I understand, he is very soft-spoken. That's right. Right now, she's just a missing person. I find it odd they reported her missing after getting into a fight. Now, we have heard that. Why would he assume that she was missing? We don't know exactly what he said to the police, Corey. We don't know. So we don't know exactly what was said. But you can see where stuff starts to, there are other people. Now, Kimberly, Graney, Perry, they need to be doing more. There are things the police, the local people in the town, doesn't seem very active on their own looking for her. They can do that. But the police are scouring that area right now. So don't think you need Wi-Fi for a 911 call. That's probably true, Nancy, but we have no reason to believe that she called 911. Now, I also want to, remind people. Let's play this out. As I was trying to say, her cell was last pinged at his house. Maybe he kept her cell, or maybe it's dead. Again, I want to come back to, if someone's phone is only activated, if it's connected to Wi-Fi, then that would be the last place that it may be pinged, because he had Wi-Fi and she was using it there. Now that's obviously a problem. Folks, as we've talked about, cell phones today are security. People need cell phones. Children need cell phones. You need it. Think how many times the technology and how that is how you can track where someone is, by the cell phone. So I don't fully understand that. We don't know that. Thank you, Katie. I am trying to talk, but see, people, I can't imagine like sitting down with certain people. Actually, I can. I forget where I was sometime recently somewhere with adults, and I had to like stop them and say, give them a chance to answer. They're like, you're interrupting. So I'm trying to explain a little bit. When people say, so in other words, there's no update. Well, they're everything. There's a lot of different updates. They still have helicopters in the air. They're not just copters. I believe they are infrared. Eric would know, of which they can, thank you, Christe, of which they can search in that manner. So a lot of people, you can't just, barge in, and you just can't start, roaming around. That's how then you lose cases. Right now, the Brian Walsh case, people may not be familiar with the Massachusetts State Police. There are people that have their own agenda, I'll talk about, that are trying to throw out there that the Massachusetts State Police screwed up certain things, and they search things without the proper, and so therefore the evidence of his iPad that he was, Googling how to get rid of a body, how long before it starts to smell. His attorneys are trying to get a trust. There are people actively trying to help Brian Walsh, who stands accused of killing his wife, Anna. They're trying to get that murder, charge kicked on him. So you have the Massachusetts State Police right now that they're trying to be very cautious, and they're trying to, follow this through. and play it out. So, and that's that. Then where does the finger point? What you need to understand, folks, is there are people right now actively trying to totally upend and disrupt police investigations. They're doing everything possible to try to discredit the police. So, in a situation like this, better to be prudent, move cautiously, right? Like, let's really exhaust, make sure it's not in this area. Right now, you can't just barge onto a property, barge into a house. That's how you can blow things. So let's slow it down a little bit. Again, I want to repeat, the police have not named anyone as a person of interest. They have not named any suspects. They have not said that they believe she met foul play. They have just said it's a missing persons case. And so things don't happen as quickly as people want them to be. So if we were, let's talk about last night. I don't understand what that would do. Can we get national news involved to get more resources? You know, Michael, I don't know what resources. The Massachusetts State Police and the Rehoboth Police, they're perfectly capable. There's nothing you're going to get. There would be no reason for, unless there was some evidence that she was transported over a state line, there's no reason for the FBI to get involved. National media, News Nation has done a story on it. New York Post has done a story on it. Right now, this really falls in the lap of the Massachusetts State Police to investigate this. Is the FBI involved? I realize that the comments are a little bit on delay. Hi there, Nancy. There's no reason for the FBI to be involved. There's no reason for them to be involved. And they don't get involved unless somehow maybe that someone was transported over state lines. But again, like, let's slow down a little bit. You know, from what we understand, he claims she left. And then he contacts the police and said, I'm a little worried I haven't heard from her. Did she leave there and something happened to her? We heard last night that she was pretty desperate for a place to stay. She's very desperate. She called Mama Bear and the friends saying, can I stay there for 3 days? You know, they were in Burrillville. They encouraged her to stay at Crossroads, which is pretty rough. I learned she was staying at a shelter, but they have certain guidelines. And then there was a problem with curfew. And so they paid for an Uber for her to get to Rehoboth. But, you know, what else I want to just touch on is some people say, you know, just, I understand. Here's something, you know, you can look at this in different ways. And one of the things that we've learned, and I've learned from following different cases and different things. Number one, these people, you know, you have people that are spreading, well, there's a serial killer out there. I mean, there's no evidence that there is a New England serial killer. Someone then said, well, look at that body washed up in Jamestown. There's no evidence that there's any connection of that. It just wasn't somebody that fell overboard from a fishing vessel, or there are, who knows? I don't know what to make of that, or who that person is. I don't think they've been identified who that is. I hear people say, hey, anything's possible. Well, not exactly. I mean, she's not in Hawaii. She's not in LA. She can't drive. She certainly had very limited resources. She, a young woman trying to find her way, clearly has family that care about her, friends that love her. They're concerned about her. This is odd. No, we don't know what happened. She could, you know, this is tough. She's 18. She's pregnant. The guy who's the father of the child, from what we understand, had no interest in the relationship anymore. That's tough to take. Her parents are deceased. She was living with relatives. She had been living with him. From what I gather, the family, they weren't, I think her sister said they weren't thrilled about that. And so, now here's this guy, and she's pregnant with his child, we believe, and he's pushing her off. So there's other things that could be upsetting her. That's a tough mindset to be in. But I know that people are frustrated. Why won't the police let people search? The police right now, they are running this investigation, even though they're saying it's a fluid incident. I think they're trying to calm things down a little bit. And trying to, let's go back and get a handle you on where this is. I had someone last night contact me and said they are pretty sure they saw someone that looked like her walking in Somerset on Saturday night. I don't know if that's true. I have no idea if that's true. Did someone driving along see her and say, "Hey, do you need a ride?" Give her a ride somewhere? Did she have a friend over there? Now, the friend was saying that she met someone online. She meets someone else online. Folks, that's what I mean. There's a lot of unknowns here. But look at the resources. Massachusetts State Police are putting in a lot of resources to try to figure out exactly what happened here. So I just think people, it would be a good thing if she was found alive. If she somehow was off the grid, was like, I had no idea, met someone, they're letting, I don't know. I don't want to speculate too much, but I just think people need to slow down with going after. I admit the whole thing, it's frightening. Now, as time starts to go on, what's happening here? This is not someone that apparently has credit cards. That's why, I kind of reject the people. Hey, anything's possible. Well, I don't know about anything's possible. I don't think they need to be looking for her on the West Coast. She's not in Florida. She doesn't drive. She doesn't have money. So she didn't just go to TF Green or Logan and get on a plane. Her credit card's not hitting anywhere. So, that's where they are right now. But a lot of what we have heard, like everyone else, it is scary. We don't know, because it's as if she just kind of, I don't know. Flock cameras. Now that's a good question, and I don't mind a question like that because it's a different. Thank you, my son. I don't know. Again, Rehoboth is very woodsy, and this is out. It's not a bus line. Part of me is, where was she going? The boyfriend claims she left the property and started walking in a certain direction. So I'm telling you, going where? I don't know. Do people on that street, do they have video cameras? There's so much that we don't know. Do the police have video cameras that show that there was no one walking at that time? It's possible. Do the police have video of her walking by? We don't know. We don't know where she's seen. Do they have the Uber driver? Do they have the Uber driver saying, yeah, I dropped her off there? That's what I heard. A place that she had stayed, they paid for her to take the Uber to his place, 25 and a half or 26 acres in Rehoboth. So do people around there, do they have video cameras? It's not like the inner city. So it would be, not everyone may have cameras out to the road in that way. So it's very rural, to say the very least. So could be trail cameras out there. Could be. That's a good point. But again, we don't No. So, but again, I think it's worth looking at exactly um, this is another thing that what I think is challenging. There they are with the canines. Is oh okay. The is I don't know how much like on the property she had been at the property, she had been staying on the property, and so therefore they would find her hair, DNA. I think her cat was there, um, clothes. So you're going to find things like that because she had been staying there on and off. So okay, I'll try to find out. Yes, I have no idea. Um, let's see where things develop over the next couple of days. You also, is there any actual proof? See, that's a good question. No, not that I'm aware of. Not that we've been told. Shaylin, that's a good question. Is there actual footage of that? With that, we don't know. We don't. We that has not been heard. Um, there's no reason to delete that. When he showed the picture of the messages, I asked if the police knew he was showing it, and it was deleted twice. I didn't delete anything, Jenny, and the moderators don't have to delete that. Do I know if the police? I don't understand the question. When he showed the picture of the message, I asked if the police knew he was showing it. I have no idea. I didn't ask them. Why should she leave things behind? That's a good question, Linda. That's already been answered, Joe. Joe, we've already answered some of this stuff. I'm going to ask Joe to just like take a break for a while because every time I look up for whatever reason, he's just he's having a bad night and he's putting things that have already been answered and so forth. So, oh, here we go. This is this. Look at this type of stuff. Where are the moderators? People get upset for a variety of different things. So let's stay on. I agree. Seems very, very odd that someone would be trying to walk that away. Colby, go away. Why don't some people? Not everybody has to. It's uncalled for. Don't pay mind. I don't know what that means. Um, exactly. Thank you, Christe. Yeah, they are. I agree. I mean, you try to. This is not easy to juggle. I don't know what that means. An interview with the boyfriend. You know what, Michelle, right now, I think we're going to let, you know, this is fluid. I would like to, but we're going to let, this is a very, as the police say, a fluid situation. And so we don't know exactly what's happening right now. So that is a complete lie. See, that is a complete lie. It is very dark, as a matter of fact. Totally. Never happened. Here come the Karen Reed people. I agree. The silence is not easy. All right, I'll be the moderator tonight. I'm telling you. Thank you, Tina. Yeah. Again, Listen, the boyfriend could walk out. There's a place that the oh good. Let's look at that. He has to tell us that he's not going to partake anymore instead of just not doing it. So he could walk out in. There's a place that the police gather. That's a good question about the grandparents. That's a very good question, especially they have to drive him. Last night that was also misinformation. He does work. I've heard he works a lot. So thank you, Donna. Listen, all kinds of people come out of the woodwork. Um, the um, the grandparents do have to drive him. I heard he does work. Last night, I think one of the friends said he does not work. So, and that is in fact not true. So he does work, but make no mistake, there's a place where the media can go. I think it's the Dighton Rehoboth. Exactly, Brenda. Exactly. The Dighton Rehoboth High School, and people can, the media gathers there, and I think they use that as where the first responders, the searchers, that's where they're staging. And um, and so, listen, the boyfriend, Greg, he could walk out of his driveway and or go down there and say, I want to give a statement. He could release a statement. So I'm pretty certain that he has. I agree. Seems like the closest people to Kylie have no clue. I think this is a tricky one. It is. It is a staging area. That is exactly right. The high school is being used. So if he wanted to, he could go there or through an attorney could release a statement. I was saying if he wanted to, he would he could contact the family and say, I'd like to stand with you. But I've heard, so what have I learned? He doesn't drive. He's 22, doesn't drive. Has the grandparents drive him. That's a little unusual. Met her. Suddenly she's pregnant. She tried to do some social media with him. He seems very, very shy or quiet. So could be. That's another good one. Shaylin, yes. The point is, if he wanted to, the family could release a statement. They could. They choose to be silent. Again, though, I've also found sometimes with some of these things, there's no light on that road. Harvey is exactly right. It is so dark. So, no, you can't be walking around there at night. You cannot. So, not in any way. So he does have a job, Amanda. Yep, he does. He works at a market. He has a sibling, a brother. So I think Kylie's family is trying to reach out and trying to communicate with them. I don't know what the status of that is. Okay, Alicia, we have several photos of him on the website, dpetro.com. So he could. Jessica Perry is exactly right. You would think. Now, again, we don't know. I can't imagine. I don't think a lot of people walk around there at night because there's no reason to bring them in. You guys there's no reason to bring in the FBI. It's not their case. This is a state case. They're not taking it anyway. For what? What would be the, Zach, you can keep asking that. Any leads with the dogs? Who wants to answer them? I mean, I don't know what to tell you other than I've been repeating what the police have said, which is it's a missing person, and that's it. She was last seen County Street, Rehoboth. They believe last on Thursday, August 7th. they're not exactly giving updates on what the canines are finding. So I Brazy, I agree. Or Dan, excuse me. It does seem odd. Yeah, you can't walk around there at night. No. Thank you, Eric. The police are not releasing any information. I know, but any luck with the dog? No, you can't be walking around there. That's exactly right. A lot of winding roads. There's Tommy. Yes. So there you see, I can understand someone asking about the canine because we have the canine up. So, but that's all the information right there. It's not that, Zach, but you know, um, I know. I love when people ask questions of police. They're not answering anything. I'll answer that, Cable. Are there any volunteer search operations? Right now, the police have not requested the public. I would know, thank you, Janet Dwyer, if there was a new lead. The police are not asking for the public to aid them in the search in any way. Good. Now, see, thank you, Anna. I live in Rehoboth, cannot walk at night. That's exactly right. Right now, the police, they're not allowing it right now. Oh, no, they don't. You cannot walk the streets at night. Yeah. I would think it'd be dangerous. You know, Lusa, I was trying to ask that last night about a vigil. Thank you, Colby. If you do, then you could stop commenting. I That's interesting about the Lacey Peterson case mentioned. I want to go back. Lacey Peterson, her husband was out searching. Initially, he was with the Flyers. That's true. But I wonder about the Gabby Petito. So, you know, that was, I don't know what to make of the relationship. So you block me, but I have no issue on. I don't know what this person is talking about. If you were blocked, you we wouldn't be able to see this. So I don't even know what someone like that is talking about. See, this is where these become very, very challenging. So yeah, the roads are very, very dangerous. The family. I tried to throw that out last night about some kind of a vigil. I don't know if do people interpret that as it's religious, like a religious vigil? Sometimes just to get everyone to gather together. I threw it out. I was trying to suggest that. Not everyone is religious or anything of that. I'm not sure what that means. If you're proof, yes, thank you. Proof of that. I agree. Um, Gabby Petito was Chris. Yes. Also keep in mind the dynamic. She's 18. He's 22. I know, Michelle. Again, if there is a friend or family member, just send a direct message to the page and we would have you on. I think everyone is trying to let the police do their thing right now. But let me, I also, I'll check. Sometimes people say they're complaining about a comment somebody put on the page. I can't control all of that, folks. Like there's just people that come out of the woodwork with some of this stuff. But I've heard they're able to search the property. They haven't. I don't know if the police have thought about that, Kerry. Why do you think that would be a good idea? Yes, that is true. If you were walking with a light, that would be true. But I get the feeling that a lot of people in Rehoboth, because of the way it's situated, they're not. Thank you, Tracy. They're not walking around at night. I don't think they are. So it's one of those areas. Like, that's even odd. She's in a prom dress. He's just looks like he came home from work. You act like you're part of the FBI. I don't know what that means. We've done a number of different investigations. I act like I'm part of the FBI. I take issue with that. Eric is right. Very dark and winding roads. When we had the listen, if they needed the resources, the whole reason, I'm not trying to shoot it down of the FBI, but we have law enforcement officers we deal with. We've done some other cases, so you learn a little bit about it. Now, when we had the Charlotte Lester case, so people saying, bring in the state police. It was Warwick's case. And actually, behind the scenes, if they needed some things, they were dealing with state police. So it's very possible that if for whatever reason they felt the need, if somehow the FBI had resources that Massachusetts State Police, Rehoboth, that somehow they didn't have access to, but I am unaware of anything like that. Massachusetts State Police is pretty well equipped. So thank you, Tracy. No, the FBI is not involved. No, but I don't understand. Thank you. I don't understand what people think that the FBI would bring to the table. Now, even see this type of stuff. These people are just impossible. I don't even know why they come on. Liz Baker. I don't know. I don't know where they. No, the FBI is not involved. I don't know why people though think that. You had the case of Carbuncle Pond in Coventry. Now, she lived in Brockton, and then her body was found in Coventry. They didn't call in the FBI for that. That was Massachusetts State Police dealing with the Rhode Island State Police dealing with the Massachusetts State Police. There'd be, trolls. There'd be no reason for it. So again, I know that people come on at different times. Yeah, she's only missing. The FBI, they don't need the FBI. I think FBI only be in an assisting capacity. Eric is exactly right. And it would only be if there was somehow, and Eric can answer this, but if there was somehow something that they did not have access to, some kind of technology, but not a case like this. I think, and Eric could correct me, but I think, you know what? Christina, let me know if Christina wants to come back on, because I'd just be curious if you talk with some of Kylie's friends or learned a little bit more. But let's just say if there was, I think more of if there was, and not to be dramatic, but if there was some kind of like a terror plot or somehow some real threat, maybe they get involved with some kind of a mass shooting in some way. But other than that, this is a local case. Rehoboth brought in, I'm going to answer that, Sheila. Rehoboth brought in Massachusetts State Police because, the state police have resources that Rehoboth doesn't have. Is it possible she took a train or bus? We have not heard that she would visit her sister in Florida. No. There's been no talk of that. And I agree with you, Corey. And there is no evidence according to people that I've spoken to, she, is just basically incapable of traveling alone and would not be able to travel alone. So I'm gonna, I'm just gonna say no. I think that's an interesting thought. That's an interesting thought on if somehow she was going to try to just do something like that. No, that's the information that we have. But I know, but see, that's a Tommy. I'm not trying to call you out. I don't understand why the boyfriend hasn't been questioned. I don't understand where you're getting that from. Like, I don't, like I said earlier, we've already addressed that. I don't understand why he hasn't been questioned. Where are you getting that from? Who said he hasn't been questioned? He's the one that called the police, reported her missing. So, Sheila, that's again, the family has mentioned nothing about it. This stuff about getting to a bus, that not according to her friends and family that know her. So they do not in any way feel that she would be capable of something like that. So I knew it was a Karen Reed person. God, they're like roaches. Okay, one of her friends posted that. But one of her friends, not at the moment, Lynn Miller. Nope, not at the moment. I'm sure he was asked questions. He reported missing. Exactly. Boy, Janet Dwyer is gonna have to. Janet Dwyer is actually the voice of reason here. He has. We don't know to what extent. Like some of this stuff is kind of basic, right? I mean, some of the things that people are saying. Well, why don't the police search the? I mean, you don't think the last place she went? I would think the Rehoboth police went there. So I don't know, I don't know about that. So some of this stuff, that's actually the first things that they would be doing. All right, I'll answer that, Jessica. When would they? I think when would they consider doing a search party? Who's they? And I'm not trying to be snippy, but as of right now, as I have mentioned, the police have rejected any assistance from the public that they need or would like the public to help them. So if that were to change, that would obviously be a different deal. But they have in no way said that they are looking for the public to be involved with that. And I know I think it's a good thing that a lot of people are. I mean, I think it's a positive that a lot of people are saying that they would love to try to help out and they want to do something. I get that. And I think that's a positive. And I'm not, right now, see, here's the thing. Here's an issue to consider. And that is, remember, we don't know what the police know. So therefore, we have no idea if the police don't share things. I know some people don't like that or fully understand it, but there are reasons why that the police don't share everything that they know. And then as a result of that, again, I know it's frustrating to people, but they could have much more information than what they are sharing with us right now. And I mean, a lot more information than what we have right now. I'm going to send Christina an invite. Her and her mom, Mama Bear. But I want people to also, Jennifer, that's a very good question. Now that's someone I want to talk to. That is someone I want to talk to. But I also, oh yeah, I mean, Cheryl Ann, that stuff is done immediately. So have hospitals been called? Maybe she was picked up by an Uber. Again, she doesn't have the resources for it. And he said that she walked out of his driveway. So the first thing the police would do is that's right. The first thing the police would do is they would check different shelters and hospitals and things like that. But that's Rehoboth police are doing that type of thing. All right. Now we had her on last night with her mom, Mama Bear. Oh, let me. There she is, joining us. Good evening,
Good.
Christina.
Good evening.
Um, is this emotional for you, or did you just have something in your eye?
I had something in my eye. Sorry.
Oh, okay. All right. It's been 24 hours. No, it's fine.
Can you
It's
pick it
been
up?
24 hours. Um, I'm just curious. Maybe you've thought of other things, had some time to reflect on our conversation from last night. Maybe you talked to other people. What can you share with us on this Friday night? Go ahead.
Honestly, some people are saying, like, there's all these rumors saying she's dead or whatever. I think it's complete baloney and bogus, and people shouldn't believe these rumors that are going around. And all we can really do is just have hope. That's all I can really say at this point, and it's just sad.
All
Very
right.
sad.
Let's not to put you on the spot, but you're saying you think it's silly if people are thinking the worst.
Yeah.
But it's been now over a week. So here's the question: where is she?
Honestly, and I think the boyfriend or grandparents, I'm not completely sure, but it could also be a theory. I think they had something to do with it, but then again, it could also be a theory of mine. So I don't really know. I don't want to
But
jump to conclusions.
no, and I agree with you. But I don't think, and again, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, Christina,
Yeah.
but I'm just not sure why you think it's baloney if people are concerned, even to the point that they think that something very bad has happened to her. No one has, her family is worried sick. No one's heard from her in over a week. She's
Hmm.
18 and 3 months pregnant. Um, you can see why then it's not
Yeah.
like it's only been a day or a couple hours. After a period of time, I mean, I would think it's actually very concerning, right?
Yeah. Like the phone that they found at Duncan, everyone's saying like it could be her phone. Like, did they get fingerprints? Like, that's what we still don't know.
All right, now you know something I don't know. Tell me what you had heard. You heard they found a phone
So
at Dunkin' Donuts?
there was like a video posted on Facebook that they found a phone at Duncan, but people are thinking like, oh, it's probably Kylie's phone. But like, what? Just get the fingerprints off it. Like, put two and two together. But I don't think it's Kylie's phone because how Kylie was explaining it, the boyfriend's house isn't near like any stores or like whatever. So how
Yeah.
would it like get there, you know?
I have not seen that. I did post a video of Rehoboth police searching a dumpster at a Dunkin' Donuts, but I was unaware that they had found anything. So you're saying you saw this on Facebook?
Yes. Like they found a phone but won't say whose phone.
Okay. Um, could you, when you say you saw that, is it someone that just posted that, or did they post of like a picture or video of the police literally holding a phone.
Like the police, like with like gloves, phone.
Really? Could you send me a screenshot of that?
If I can find it again, I will most definitely.
When do you think you saw that?
Like way, way earlier today. I don't know
Earlier,
exactly what time.
but it was today and earlier today.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So that's, I'd be very curious. I have not heard anything about that. And I'm in touch with quite a few people,
Mm.
but you think, and is this someone that you know that posted
No,
this?
it's like it was just a random video of like someone like zooming in on the cops by the Dunkin' Donuts dumpster, and they're like, "Oh, they think they might see a phone or whatever," and so that's where like the speculations of that person starts to
I
come
see.
in about the
Okay.
phone.
Yeah. I don't know. That one I have not heard. I mean, again, we have the video. I was unaware that someone else had a video that was closer of them going through that. But
Yeah.
if you could find that, Christina, I'd be very, very curious. So,
Yes.
so it sounds though that you feel that she is somewhere they just haven't located her, but that
Yeah.
she's okay. So, okay. Well, that's good. I mean, that's positive. Um, and I am curious. Were you aware that she had called your mom in early July and said, "I need three? Can I stay with you for 3 days?"
Yes, I was there when my mom got that call.
Okay. Now, what I didn't get to ask your mom was, did Kylie, say why she needed to stay with you guys for 3 days?
All Kylie said was, "Can I stay with you guys for 3 days? I feel unsafe." And that's it. She hung up immediately because I heard Greg's voice in the background as soon as she said, before she said I didn't feel safe.
Yep.
So now I'm putting it two and two together now.
Hmm. All right. Well, a lot to think about. Anything else that you thought of since we spoke to you last night? I mean, you saying that you did a sleepover with her in April, and you thought, you had seen signs of some kind of abuse around the neck. That's
Yeah.
pretty frightening.
Yeah. So one of the, I don't want to give too much information on this, but Kylie's sister did ask for my number to give to one of the detectives about that. So I'm still waiting on a call from them about that. So that's something. Um, that's pretty much it, really.
Did she say why she didn't feel safe?
No, all she said was, "I don't feel safe here." And that was it.
Hmm. I don't feel safe here.
Yeah.
And then that's when your mom said, well, maybe go to Crossroads.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you know, had she ever stayed at Crossroads?
No, she hasn't. But
She hasn't.
what concerned me the most was her reply back saying, "Oh, I need to be closer to Greg." And then I'm like,
Right.
"Kylie, he's clearly bad news."
Yeah.
I got like this weird vibe, a bad vibe now, still bad vibes. And
Yeah. You know what's odd is, she's saying, I don't feel safe, but then she
yeah,
still wants to be close to him, right?
yeah,
That's
I don't
that's
know.
kind
It
of
makes,
conflicting.
yeah,
Hmm.
I think it makes no sense because it's like you say you don't feel safe, but then you want to be closer. It's like you're pretty much in a toxic relationship that I definitely did not approve since day one. But she wasn't gonna listen to me about it. So
It's as we talked about, and again, folks, Christina, um, grew up, went to school with Kylee, and then saw her in April. They did a sleepover. The relationship was new. What's also difficult is, I mean, he's older. That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, it's his house. She clearly has very limited options,
Yeah.
nowhere to really go. She has the aunt and uncle, I think, in Attleboro, but
Yeah.
she. It sounds like no one thought it was a good idea when she started staying
Mm-mm.
with him and the grandparents. And then, from what I have learned, the grandparents were not thrilled that she was staying there.
No.
So, but you've never met Greg,
No, the only time I've met him was like through FaceTime,
right?
and I just got that weird, like, how do I want to explain it? That bad gut feeling that, like, all right, he seems like he's bad news, but I don't want to say nothing. But
Yeah.
then it's like, all right, I have to say something. So I told her, I'm like, Kylee, I love you and all like a sister, but he's bad news. She got mad at me for that comment, which is understandable because if I was in her situation and a friend said that, I would be mad too. So,
Well, so you think that, any day now or any hour she may turn up?
yes,
You
I
do.
have faith that she will come back. I really do have faith.
Okay. But um but that would be, is that because you're saying as her friend you have faith in her?
I honestly, truly do have faith in her that she will come back and realizing that she cannot be out there all by herself and she's gonna have to come home at some point. Not that I'm gonna suggest not to go back to Greg's house because I don't trust him and never will after all this. Even with the bruises that I saw last time I saw her, I say she's better off with like going back to Attleboro, like closer to her aunt and uncle, to be honest.
And but we don't have any idea where she might be.
You know, everyone's saying like they spotted like a tall girl by like Central Falls and Fall River, but I can't like I'm like it's all over TikTok. I'm like, all right, where's the proof of this, that, like at least give us proof that it's who you think it is.
Yeah. I don't know. Now I haven't heard that. I don't know how she would have gotten there.
Yeah, that's
Um,
what I don't get, but I think it's another rumor.
yeah. Someone on TikTok said she's in Attleboro. I don't.
I don't know. Cause
But
wouldn't
where
like
would
an
she
Uber
be in
driver or
Attleboro?
someone,
What's that?
I said, wouldn't like an Uber or someone to like who she like hitchhike with like say something about it though?
Yes, I agree with you. And on top of that, someone's saying there's a women's shelter in Central Falls, but you got to realize that one of the first things police do is, they're contacting all the shelters, all the
Yeah.
hospitals. So, I mean, that's done in the first 24 hours. So that I don't believe right now, unless the
Mm-mm.
system is totally broken, that she
Yeah.
is staying somewhere at a shelter and both the people at the shelter and her have no idea that all these people are looking for her.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's possible, but yeah. All
Yeah.
right. Well, Christina, you're good to come on, and I know that and so you've been communicating with different people today, but you think that she is somehow that she's out there.
Yes, I genuinely really do.
Yeah. Although, I've heard that people that know her don't feel that she would be able to fend for herself, so to speak. You know?
Hmm.
So, for instance, and not to, but like, unless, do you know, has she traveled? Has she ever gotten on an airplane? Has she ever gone to Florida or California? Like, do you know of any of that stuff?
No, because like I said, I only knew her since
Right, when she was
elementary
young.
school. But then
Yeah,
after elementary school, we just like broke apart, and then we reconnected that
right.
April,
Yep,
and that's it.
yep. All right. Well, Christina, thank you for the update. Let us know if you hear anything.
Will do.
Okay. All right, folks. There it is Christina. Yeah, I have not heard anything like that. Um, Listen, we're gonna, continue to follow it. I think right now, let's see what tomorrow brings. Let's see what the weekend brings. But right now, to me, the police seem like they're trying to reel this in a little bit. And you think about it, I don't know, where is she? This whole thing is very odd. And I want to go back to, it was very important listening to one of her sisters, Kitty, last night, saying it was that Wednesday night was the last time anyone had actually FaceTimed with her and saw her, spoke to her. And then Thursday, they just get the text. And again, we have the text up on depetro.com. But um, I, but aside from that, it's our understanding, it's my understanding that it's the boyfriend, Greg, who has not been, I want to be very clear, he has not been listed as a suspect. He has not been listed as a person of interest. So all of this talk of, go for a search warrant or blah, 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 he has not been listed that way. As far as police are concerned, this is a missing person case. And he's the one that reported her missing. So I don't know. Now you have a friend saying, "Oh, I have faith. She's out there and she's going to turn up." I am hearing and have heard that not to, that she's just not someone who could fend for herself, so to speak, or just be out there on alone. So I thought we were riding with Westerly PD tonight. Is that what you thought? Well, a lot of things. Remember, it's always fluid. I hope everyone sees that. See, that's why I'm always hesitant before I say things definitive. We were going to. And then this story popped up. And right now, this is a story, and it's obviously a big story. So that's not accurate. That's not a new friend since April. Oh, he is. No, I think they met in February. I think they met in February, is when she met him. Sometime early this year is when they met. And then um, she, saw Kylee in April. That's when she saw her. So where do these people come from? I'm a fake blogger. I'm not even a blogger. I don't know what they're talking about. See, these are the free Karen Reed people. See how they try to troll? They don't care that someone's missing. They don't care that, trying to get word out. They are part of the cult. You just go out and troll. And they're anti law enforcement. And I'll say this, I think it has impacted the Massachusetts State Police. So, folks, let's see what the weekend brings. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Um, we're going to say goodnight on this Friday. Again, folks, as soon as we get some info, that's right, the pink stink out of the chat, we're going to leave. Thank you. We'll learn more. We don't know. We don't know. But we'll continue to try to find out what's happening. And where she is. We're going to say, and again, we have the text up on the website, depetro.com. Thank you, everybody.